Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how your friends and family and your peers around you do not feel the way you feel. So you cannot expect them to respond the way that you would respond to certain situations and things of that nature. But just being aware and having the knowledge and understanding that they are receiving their guidance from the wrong side of nature. I'll just put it that way. They are receiving their information from the wrong side. So what I mean by this is, like, they don't feel the way we feel. One, because we're highly empathetic on a percentage scale. So highly empathetic could be anywhere from, let's say, 80% to 110%. You know, 100 is the max. Some people just are a little bit 10% over too. That's the range we fall around when it comes to being highly empathetic, between that 80 and 110% range. But then you have the other beings who ride with the other team by choice or by choice. So then we have them who are lower on the empathetic scale. So being low on the empathetic scale, meaning that you are going to be around 30% to 20% and lower. Some of them you will run into that's on like a negative 50, a negative 100%. And usually those ones, I don't like to say are really that low on the scale. They just have gotten to a frequency where it's them before any and everybody else around them or in their space. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like, for me, and I know for us, we have like a base ingredient in, as into where we receiving our source of information from and how we know which team is coming from. See, the thing is with the other beings being outside of us and around us, and why they aren't able to feel the way we feel. One, because the opposition doesn't operate like that. So once that other entity moves in there, a lot of traits are null and void. A lot of their powers and abilities, they get minimized. They still have access to them, but they get minimized. So it's like, if you used to be able to power up to, let's say, 1 out of 5, but when you used to power up, you used to always power up to 5 right away. Now, since you ran with the opposition, your power up is only going to be to a level 3, you know. And you might hit a 4, but you won't never reach your full max potential at the 5 because you are not following the natural flow. So that way you can receive your source of information, insight, enlightenment, however it flows, and whatever words you want to use come to you. You know what I'm saying? And you'll run across a lot of situations in life where you'll have people, beings around you, whether they adults older than you, people younger than you, and a lot of people your same age. They're gonna be doing weird witchy shit and being extremely selfish in certain situations, and it's gonna be hard for you to fathom because you're gonna put yourself in their shoes. That's what we can do. We can literally put ourselves in other shoes, like literally, and feel what the other beings are feeling on an 80 to 90%. We won't get the other 10 to 20% because we are not that actual being. But on the highest percentage scale, we can put ourselves in those shoes. You know, people always told me my whole life I've been a giver. Yes, I have, but I've also been a warrior at the same time too. So I guess it was the universe was telling me that I needed to find a balance. You know, they won't feel what you feel. This is always such, like, it's really simple, but breaking it down to where you could use these lessons immediately. See, for me, I like to like if I'm getting some kind of information, or if I'm seeking it intentionally, I have my ranges where I seek intentionally, where, okay, this is a longevity one, okay, this is a short-term one. Some people and channels I tap into, they short terms. I need the immediate responses and actions, you know. So this right here, all of these are things that like we can apply in our immediate life today. You know, a lot of these things is like, oh, I could be watching this video or listening to it, and I could still be trying out these tactics with the people around me. You know, the ones in my household, the ones I choose to be around, and the ones that's at my job. You know what I'm saying? And you can use all of these tactics to kind of measure up where other beings are. You know, we always constantly getting attacked in that war already anyways. We already know we got to do everything on the hardest level possible. So why not take the steps to make dealing with the other beings around you a little bit easier? Understanding their thought process before you dive in and get too involved in an emotional reaction. Because a lot of the times it's easy to pull you an emotional reaction when you are so used to being defensive, or, you know, you haven't figured out how to master your energy once it starts vibrating extremely hard. We say your energy rises up, whichever one you want to do, but once it starts vibrating really hard to the end, in the inside, that's what that is. That vibration is so hard that you have to project and manifest. That's why being angry, being mad, that energy is extremely helpful and detrimental. Because being mad or angry is going to make you manifest right away. You're going to either manifest something extremely healthy, or you're going to you're going to conjure something into this realm that's going to be at your detriment. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always feel it's important to make sure you master all your energy and emotion. You know, you're supposed to master your vessel, yourself. You know what I'm saying? We only got one, so while you spending time focused on Bad Girls Club, basketball, football, like who's doing what on social media, like you ain't even really got yourself figured out. And it's like we all had those phases that we went through, but like I always say, we're in a day and age of information. So if you got a cell phone and a computer, or you know somebody with one, then it's no more excuses. You know, you may be in survival mode to where making decisions become a little bit more harder, but that's part of us humans in general. Being a spiritual being, having a human experience, we're gonna make survival decisions. Even the people with a lot of money and all the money in the world, like they still get caught making decisions in survival mode. You know, you still got real life decisions to make once you set yourself up to where, okay, now I don't have to make decisions in survival mode. But the other beings aren't going to be able to put themselves in your shoes. You know, that's why I made the last video saying about how it's harder to and be mindful of how you express yourself when you're on your downward part of your cycle. You know, your downward part of your cycle doesn't mean that the world is ending, that you fucking, it's all over. That means that's just a cycle. It's like when you get in the shower or a bath, you have a process, right? It's a cycle. You turn the water on, or you take clothes off. Some people take clothes off, then turn the water on. Whichever two it goes. Some people take baths, they gotta add the bubbles first. Some people like the water to come all the way to the top, then they add the bubbles in the bath. Some people not even bathing. They just turn the water on, hop in the shower. But then they also have their routine on how they shower. You know what I'm saying? So, and your routine, that shower routine is just another cycle. So once you get in, you got the routine that you're doing. Okay, now you're getting ready to cycle your ass up out the shower. Okay, now I gotta rinse off. For me, I like to hit my chest, my mid, then my lower body from there, and then, you know, hit the water, dry off. You got your cycle. Okay, now you're in your downward cycle of your AM or your shower routine. So long as we start looking at this shit in cycles, it's like the seasons out here. It's in cycles. So That's why it's always trickier for the opposition to even think about getting in our shoes. And when they do try to get in our shoes, they realize these motherfuckers is way too big for them. These shoes is way too big. You ever tried to put some shoes on that was too big for you? You gotta do 1,000 extra things just to be able to walk in them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta start stuffing socks in there. You gotta put your pants in your socks, in your shoes. Like, you gotta put extra insoles in there. Like, it's a million things you gotta do to get into these shoes. You know what I'm saying? When you're the opposition. Other chosen ones, we don't have no problem hopping in each other's shoes, giving respect and credit where it's due. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do, but we just so spread out that luckily we have, fortunately, I don't like saying lucky, ain't shit luck. Fortunately, we have the technology that we all can communicate with each other, and we can find more of us and reach out and branch out. So that way we aren't in spaces where we're constantly around people who just have literally very low empathy, and they just have a hard time connecting spiritually, you know. So they won't be able to vibe the way we vibe, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, unless it's hurting you and detrimental to you. But even saying that is like, if it's not hurting you, then it's hurting somebody else. So that's why for me, it's hard to just be like, all right, well, it's okay to do it. Like, that's what society says, but that's not what I says or the natural flow says. Even though the natural flow is saying like, hey, I follow the flow. You know, if humans are altering the flow, then nature's like, okay, well, I'm gonna follow this shit that they altering, and then I'll get back in my place of taking lead. You know what I'm saying? Nature can just swipe everything out the fucking way if it wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's not what's happening right now. But it's just, you know, a metaphor, an analogy for us to use. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to run it up too long, you know what I'm saying? Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings of